Welcome to Dateline SAU, your source for the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University. I'm Terry Koob.
And I'm Ryan Sandness. The Black Student Union held its second annual Unity Walk this Wednesday. Dateline SAU's Kyle Alexander is here with that story.
The Unity Walk was created in 2019 in response to racial graffiti and discrimination that happened in the Wellness and Recreation Center.
We are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We must start this change on a smaller local scale. We must push for change in police training. We must push for change in our justice system. We must push for change in our government. We must push for change when it comes to how our people are stereotyped.
Be vulnerable. Schedule a meeting with one of the many groups whose beautiful signs and experiences are represented on this table to my left. You might not love what you hear. You might feel a little uncomfortable. And don't worry, those are growing pains. That is what unity feels like.
It means that we continue to do our homework. We continue to do our research, as Dr. Eichelberry said, to really understand what it means to dismantle systemic racism, systemic oppression.
The Black Student Union of St. Ambrose University is determined to strive not only for equality, but also equity, unity, and inclusion.
This year's Unity Walk saw a bigger turnout than the first year. Participants included students, staff, and faculty.
The BSU is encouraging students to get to know and understand the voices of minority groups on campus.
This year, St. Ambrose Dance Marathon raised more than $191,000 for the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital, coming up just short of their goal of $200,000. The fundraising goal for Dance Marathon 9 was determined by the finance director, co-executive directors, and representatives for the Children's Hospital. Former PR and marketing director from DM8 and DM9, Carly Miller, says people should still be proud of the amount of money they raised.
Honestly, I barely realized that we didn't hit the goal because it was just such an achievement to raise that much, especially during COVID. And I think on the outside looking in, it might seem like, oh, what did they do wrong? Just because it isn't $200,000. But at the end of the day, it was so much money and I can't even comprehend that amount of money. And doing all of that during a pandemic when we couldn't have a lot of our regular fundraisers and a lot of that regular money coming in was pretty incredible.
COVID also forced organizers to reschedule Dance Marathon this year. The original date was March 28th, but the main event had to be pushed back to April 17th.
Ambrosians raised more than $51,000 during this year's Day of Giving. The 24-hour fundraising event asks alumni, faculty, staff, parents, and friends to give back to the university. Gifts could go to the Ambrose Annual Fund or could be designated for specific programs. These included athletic teams, academic programs, or special organizations like KALA Radio.
St. Ambrose University may host an on-campus COVID-19 vaccination clinic. Earlier this month, the university sent out a survey to students and staff to see who would be interested.
So we had about 700 people respond. Of those, and I've got the numbers here, 424 students responded, about 276 employees responded. About just under half of our students either have been vaccinated or were scheduled to get vaccinated.
The university hopes all students and staff are vaccinated prior to graduation. A plan was set up with the state of Iowa to vaccinate college students with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The plans have been on hold since the use of that vaccine was temporarily suspended.
The St. Ambrose Career Center is looking to fill its top position. Dateline SAU's Gavin Flynn joins us with that story.
St. Ambrose University is looking to hire its next Career Center director. Emily Rollins is stepping down from the position and taking a new role at the Community Foundation of Greater Dubuque. Rollins was appointed SAU's Career Center director just last year and took charge amidst the COVID pandemic. She helped guide the Career Center in innovative ways through the pandemic. The search for a new director is underway. For more information, visit the school's website at sau.com.
The Eastern Iowa Western Illinois Student Veterans Advocacy Group hosted an event at the Black Hawk Hotel, all part of a competition among veterans called the Commander's Cup. This time it was an evening of bowling. The competitors made up of veterans from local colleges. They went head-to-head for a total pin count to win the night. Veterans get together on a regular basis to socialize and compete in a variety of competitions and activities for a variety of reasons.
We like
like to have events once a month for all the student veterans at our local schools, St. Ambrose, Eastern Iowa Community Colleges, Western Illinois, and Augie. We like to get together and have some camaraderie and do some things together and compete.
The evening gives the veterans a chance to enjoy some food and drink and discuss issues they might have encountered, especially information on educational and employment opportunities for themselves and their families. This event was sponsored by the Illinois Student Veterans of America.
Next semester, students will be able to take a 1-credit disc golf physical education course. The university already has a disc golf club on campus. Members hope the class attracts more people to the club. Dateline SAU's Chase Calderwood explains.
The disc golf team here at Ambrose has had trouble getting exposure in the past and hopes that with the addition of a frisbee golf class that more people will want to join and compete.
We're really excited actually that there's going to be a new course for disc golf because it's a very fast-growing sport, but at the same time not very well known. So having a course that could expose this club out to more new people, teaching them new things, can really kind of kick the gears and get more excitement for a sport that is really becoming anything from local to international.
I'm currently at Eastern Avenue Park where they go to play and get some practice rounds in. Frisbee golf is a sport popularized around the world and a great way for students to get outside and meet some friends and have great experiences. As the club started up, it did run into some obstacles. Lack of members made it difficult, but over time, its involvement among students has evolved.
The disc golf club, we definitely have grown a bit since I first got here. So it's more fun to play with more different people and different skill levels so I can kind of help people, or people that are better than me can help me, and it's just kind of like growth together.
Member Jeff Murphy is highly involved and loves the relationships he's made throughout the sport.
Personally, I'm probably the person that goes the most, me and Joe. So it means a lot to just consistently go and like we have a good friendship. So it's like about friends, I guess.
Chase Calderwood, Dateline SAU.
Coming up after a short break, the men's lacrosse team advances to the conference championship game, ranked 5th in the country.
And the SAU baseball team finds success during a busy week with several ball games on their schedule, including 2 home doubleheaders.
Lindsey Voss will have highlights and more coming up after the break.
On Dateline SAU.
So I actually never meant to be a Quad Cityan for life. I went to Bettendorf High School and thought that the last thing I wanted to do was stay here and go to college, but we came here for a campus visit and I was lucky enough to get an Ambrose scholarship, so that helped tip the scales in Ambrose's favor a little bit, but I knew as soon as I walked on campus that this was the place that I wanted to be, and for me it ended up kind of being the best of both worlds. So I got to live on campus and grow that independence and become my own person, but I also got to, have that ability to be close to home and interact with my family on the weekends.
men's lacrosse team, ranked 5th in the country, traveled to Atchison, Kansas last weekend for the KCAC tournament. After squeaking out a semifinal win over Benedictine College in double overtime, the men found themselves facing number 3 Columbia in the title game. But the St. Ambrose could not keep up with the Cougars as the Bees dropped this one 16-6. The team will now travel to Savannah, Georgia to take on 4th-ranked Kaiser University in the first round of the NAIA National Tournament. Starting May 5th, it will mark the first time a St. Ambrose team has gone to the Men's Lacrosse National Invitational. Spring baseball calls for a hectic schedule for the Bees as they played 7 games in the past week. On Saturday, they hosted Trinity International for an afternoon doubleheader. It didn't take long for the Bats to get going. Liam Dennehy finds the grassy knoll in left field for a first-inning home run, and the Bees are on the scoreboard. We move to the 6th inning, and Brendan Butler singles 2 more as the Bees extend their lead to 8 runs. The defense turned 4 double plays in this one in the 7th inning, ends the game as the Bees win the opener 11-3. The Bats stayed hot in the nightcap as SAU pounded out 10 hits and capitalized on several Trojan errors and wild pitches, winning 13-3. Then on Wednesday, St. Ambrose made it 8 wins in a row with a home doubleheader sweep of Lincoln College. The team moves to 22-5 and into first place in the conference standings. They have a record of 26-18 overall. After managing just 3 hits in the opener, the St. Ambrose softball team used 3 home runs to power past number 14 St. Xavier in the second game of the doubleheader, Tuesday in Chicago. It was just the second loss of the season for the Cougars. The next night, the Bees split a twin bill at home with Trinity International. The softball team moves to 11-7 in the CCAC, 17-9 overall. Junior Mick Haverland tied for 7th place, leading the SAU men's golf team to a 4th place team finish at the CCAC Golf Championships. The men will next compete in the NAIA National Championships, which they will host at TPC Deer Run, May 18th through 21st. All 5 Bees finished in the top 18 to pace the women's golf team to a runner-up finish at the CCAC Championships. It was the team's best finish in a conference tournament since 2010, when they won the Midwest Collegiate Conference title. And that's it for sports this week. I'm Lindsay Voss.
And that's all we have for you on this edition of Dateline SAU.
We'll be back next week with the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University.
Remember to check out the SAU TV Facebook and Instagram pages for our newscasts, late-breaking news, and more.
You can also find news stories and videos on The Hive at sauthebuzz.com.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next week.